Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And I want to say good morning to you, Lauren. It's wonderful to see you here today. I am back at my home after a whirlwind of a week, memorializing my father and helping my mom to clean out the house, which is definitely quite the job. So thank you guys so much for being here. The question of the day is, how do you remain centered? And Lauren says, by appointing myself some me time. I think that's a great way to be centered, Lauren. I definitely can understand that. And thank you so much. It's a good time to be back. It just feels good to go to sleep in my own bed, wake up in my own bed. And when I was over at my childhood home, everything was up in the air. Everything was different. It's like they say you can never go home, and that's because you change and your home changes and you change in different ways. And as I was getting all that work done, and in the midst of helping my mom plan a memorial, and just helping her go through the stuff that was at the house, everything was different in my life. And I had to remain centered. I had to have some little rituals in order for me to just continue to, I don't know, just be myself, not lose myself in all of the work. Because I would work from the moment I got up to the moment I went to sleep. I was moving stuff. I was organizing and sorting and moving, and it'd be very easy just to kind of get myself lost in that, and to get myself lost in other people's day-to-day life instead of mine, especially when I'm there to when I'm there to accomplish really important work, and when I only have a limited time to get it done. And so the way that I would remain centered is that I would wake up in the morning and I would pray and I would do my own little rituals. I actually brought a deck of I am cards, and I would pull an I am card for myself in the morning. And I would just kind of have this little ritual for myself every single time, every single morning. And so I continued with my own I am statements, even as I was, in a totally different place. And so, so I am centered, and I was able to center myself on some little rituals while I was in Pennsylvania. So we are here to say some nice things about ourselves today. I am still quite a bit travel lagged, and just kind of dealing with the hey there, how's it going there, Dan from Omaha? Man, you're doing the same stuff that I was doing last week. I know that you're still in the process of getting that stuff done. Good morning, Susan. It's good to see you here today as well. So anyway, we're going to do the same thing we do every day. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the I am deck. We're going to work through the affirmation together. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. We're going to respond together out loud. I am that affirmation. And as we do that, we are building into our own lives. We are giving ourselves mental ammunition for whenever life gets to us, for whenever something happens that causes us to perhaps lose our peace. We have additional tools with which to regain it. So let's get that started today by saying that today I am collaborative. I am collaborative. I work harmoniously toward shared visions. So I am collaborative. I work harmoniously toward shared visions. Are you collaborative? You are collaborative. You work harmoniously toward shared visions. So I'm going to write that down in the comments. And as I do, I am giving myself an additional layer of belief. Just hearing me say things is one level of belief. Saying them out loud ourselves, we get to hear ourselves say them, and it's quite the gift that we can give to ourselves. But writing things down is incredibly powerful. And so as we write this stuff down together, we are very much solidifying our collaborative nature in our world. So I am collaborative. I work harmoniously toward shared visions. All right. And so what does it really mean and to be collaborative? What does it mean to work harmoniously toward shared visions? I think it's very important to understand that we need to find people who are going the same direction as we are. There was a time in my life where I just didn't consider myself to be collaborative at all. I didn't consider myself to be cooperative. Oh, I was nice enough to the people around me, but none of them were doing stuff that I wanted to be a part of. And okay, so when I was in Pennsylvania, my my mom pulled out this old box of memorabilia for me to go through. All the stuff she had saved for me over the course of my childhood. And it had everything from like awards that I had won, a whole lot of participation trophies. Let me tell you, I participated a lot when I was a kid. But awards that I had won, things that I had done, times that I had made the newspaper, times that I had, times that I had in some way entered the public sphere. But also in there were all of my report cards from elementary school and eventually middle school until such point as I was, until such point as I was started to be homeschooled. And then I had all my homeschool stuff after that. But one of the things that my teachers said over and over and over again in my report cards as a small child was that I have incredible potential when I choose to apply myself. And the trick is getting me to apply myself. And when I look back at what I thought about school, and let me tell you, my mom had saved some of my notebooks, and if these notebooks had gotten into the hands of school psychologists maybe 2 or 3 years after they actually did, I probably would have been pumped so full of Ritalin, it would have been, my life would have been a very different life. But yeah, when I look at my notebooks talking about how much I hate school and I can't stand it and I don't want to be there, I could see what my teachers were saying, that the shared vision that they were putting at the class, that shared vision wasn't something that I wanted to be a part of, and consequently, I just wasn't a part of it. And yet, intermixed with all of these report cards, there were these assignments that I had done, and apparently I had done to a very high level of excellence, and my teachers had written on them, wow, why can't you produce work like this all the time? And when I looked at those assignments, I remembered doing them. I remembered that they had captured my imagination, that they were something that allowed me to free reign of my creativity. And so therefore I had put in some extra effort, and I had really just rocked it at those assignments. And as I looked at this juxtaposition, these comments from my teachers versus the work that I had done very well, it was crystal clear to me, with the perspective of an adult, that when the work was interesting, I was more than happy to put in effort to it. And when the work wasn't interesting to me, I just ignored it. And that was definitely something that my teachers had to say about me in that regard. That when I cared, when I had a shared vision with my teachers about the work that ought to be done, I did a fantastic job of it. And otherwise, I couldn't be asked to do it. I just didn't do it. Just didn't do the work. And they tried and tried. They tried all kinds of different carrots and sticks to make me do the work, and it just didn't work. And so, this card's an interesting one to come up with today, especially after looking at all those old report cards and kind of realizing, how did adults see me when I was a child? Because in so many ways, I still am that way. And as I kind of like looked at these old report cards and these old assignments and all this stuff from back when I was even more unfiltered than I am today, it became very clear to me that when something is really interesting to me, that I pursue it at a high level of excellence. And when something isn't interesting to me, I just don't care, and so I don't. And so my own goal for myself is to make sure that the visions of the people around me are visions that I'm interested in working harmoniously toward. That the teams that I'm on are teams of people that I would like to be a part of the team. That the work that I do is interesting and meaningful for me, because I can tell the same thing that my teachers could tell back when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, that when the work is interesting to me, that I'm willing to do it. There was a marked change that happened in my elementary school career, which was that I went to like an IQ test when I was in second grade, and so the results of that IQ test were there, and it turned out that I was top 1% in the country for kids of my age group for overall general intelligence, and so they recommended me to the mentally gifted program for that, and I noticed that as soon as I entered into the mentally gifted program, that the problems that my teachers had been mentioning all went away. I still had issues, of course, but the issues where they couldn't get me to do my homework just kind of evaporated, because the homework was interesting and challenging to me because it was for the mentally gifted students. And so when I looked at that, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, what they did, they didn't change the vision of the school. The vision of the school was still to prepare me for life. They didn't change the teacher didn't change their vision of getting me to do homework. They simply changed the work that was assigned to me. And as they assigned me more dynamic work, I was more interested in accomplishing it. And so I am collaborative, and I work harmoniously toward shared visions. And it's just very important for me in my own personal life to understand that the shared visions have to be something that are in line with, in line with my own core values. I'm a very values driven individual. So let's see. So yeah, what do you guys have to say about this? For some reason, my comments are not working, so I can only see the ones on the screen, just like y'all can. But Amanda says, I went through the same thing, threw a lot of things out. Yeah, tell me about it. I threw away about 90% of that stuff, Amanda. I don't need my art from first grade. Not necessary in my life. I saved some of the mazes that I made when I was a kid. I used to draw a lot of mazes. And when I started to get a little bit more art skill, I started to put pictures into the mazes. And so that was a really interesting thing. So I actually kept quite a few of the mazes that were of higher quality. And then I actually remember drawing. And you're right, they're not needed. My report cards from second grade are not needed. They have given me all the valuable perspective that I need. So just by looking at them when I'm 41. Janice says, carrots and sticks are manipulation and fear in her mind, not motivational for me anymore. But that's how I grew up too, and that's how I processed the world. No wonder I was sad, frustrated, and mad in my own mind. Oh, tell me about it. I mean, I look at my doodles, I look at the things that I drew, and I was a very disturbed child. I was frustrated that I had to be there, and I was angry, and I had so many pictures of death and people who were dying and people who were being killed in my notebooks that probably would have been interpreted very differently by a modern child psychologist than they were by our guidance counselor when I was in first or second grade. So in the end, my interest in here is, as an adult, making sure that the projects that I'm involved with, the shared visions that I involve myself with, are ones that I am willing to and able to put my absolute best toward. Because while I was top 1% for intelligence when I was in second grade, I seriously doubt that I'm top 1% currently. But the fact is that I do have a tremendous amount of effort and energy that I can put toward any work that I choose. And so the challenge for me, and the challenge that this card is giving to me, is to make sure that I'm choosing work that is meaningful for me so that I do it at a high level of excellence. The wake-up call is one of those things that I choose to do and that I love to do, and that gets me out of bed in the morning. It's one of the few things in my entire life that I've ever found operates as an effective alarm clock for me. It's one of the biggest things I've ever done in my life, is just to get up on time. And or to get up on time without having without knowing that a boss would be yelling at me for being late at work if I didn't get up on time. So this card for me is a challenge to make sure that the folks that I'm weaving myself together with, in the same way that all these strings are woven together, the people that I'm weaving together as we create a beautiful tapestry of life, that they and I are working on things that are important and that are inspiring to me to give my best to. Because when I give my best to something, it very much turns out well. All right, my friends, I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another with another empowering wake-up call. I want to say thank you guys so much for being here. It is beautiful to see you. And yeah, I'd say good morning to all y'all, but like I said, my chat function is not working, so I can't see exactly who's here, except if you're on my screen. So good morning, Susan, Amanda, Janet. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to all of you guys who are here, but I can't see you on my screen. I know that you are. I know that many of you guys are dedicated to being here every morning at 9 a.m. and it warms my heart to see you. So thank you for helping me to be connected with my community, remain connected with my community, even when I'm traveling, even when I'm out and about. But it sure is good to be home, and I'm looking forward to doing more wake-up calls. So until tomorrow, when we meet each other again, I love you and care about you. And yeah, believe that you are collaborative people and believe that you are people that I would like to collaborate with. And so I will talk to you tomorrow. Aloha from paradise.